Welcome or welcome back. This is Pairs Well Knitting. I'm Jennifer and this is a knitting podcast all about knitting, yarn adventures and travel. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thrilled as always that you're here. Today we are looking at very fally knits. I've curated my top 20 knitting patterns. This is everything from sweaters, accessories. To be clear, we have 20 total patterns, 12 gorgeous, very fall-worthy sweaters, 7 accessories that's breaking down into 3 pieces of neckwear, 3 hats, 1 pair of socks, and a poncho, also including 1 free pattern. Stick around, get comfy, get cozy. We will bounce right in. We're gonna start off with what I'm wearing, and I am so excited to be wearing a very fall knit to kick off today's pattern curation for the top 20 knitting patterns of fall 2025. Today I am wearing a very fall Kingsburg keyhole pullover. This is my own design that I'm so excited to be wearing and proud of having the pattern being released last year. This is a very simple knit, a lot of Stockinette Delight with top-down construction. It's a raglan sweater. It's very flattering to the fit, not oversized too much, not boxy, but just really gorgeous in the fit for a variety of bodies. We have a 1x1 neck ribbing at the top with a slight rolled hem as well, so it's a nice mixy match. And of course the feature is the keyhole closure in the back that offers just a kiss of additional design, but in the making process is very simple to follow with the instructions. Today I'm wearing this version in a stunning Norwegian yarn by Hillesvåg. This is the Vald Pulselgarn and is very rustic but soft at the same time. It has a nice halo to it if you can see, which I don't know if you can. It's just great. The recommended yarn is Choose Your Own Delight. This is a stockinette, in stockinette stitch. The gauge is 16 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches. And basically is an Aran weight yarn. I've knit this in a variety of different yarns. You're going to be seeing one in the future as well that I'm working on because I'm really enjoying the design of it still and not bored of it. So that's it. That's the Kingsburg keyhole pullover. Of course, the pattern is on Ravelry and linked below, so you can check that out. We're going to get into today's pattern roundup, which I am just so thrilled about. I was able to, and I don't know why I didn't do this before because I thought it would be more work and it wasn't. I ended up doing a Ravelry grouping of favorites within my Ravelry page. This is in the Fall Inspiration 2025 pattern curation on my Ravelry. I'll link that as well. It was absolutely no additional trouble when I'm already perusing patterns and just getting really excited about all of it, that I've put it within my Ravelry page as a bundle. So if this is something that's really easy for you to do, you enjoy this resonates with you, you're on Ravelry, let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback if this is something that's really working for you. If not, let me know as well. And perhaps I won't include it next time, but I thought this was easy, and it actually not only allowed me to organize myself in a much more efficient way, which I really enjoy, but allows hopefully you as an interested knitter to just do one click and then see everything as one super fun bundle. So let me know. We are going to start off with the sweaters, garments. We're going to then go into accessories. What I'm going to talk about is I'm going to break down each pattern, of course, into the overall look or aesthetic. We're going to go over the gauge or recommended or sample yarn. Then we're going to talk about construction as briefly as I can because, of course, there are 20 patterns to go over. So I'm just going to try to top line it. And then at the end, if there is any possible mods that I might do, this is what I'll say in. All right, let's go in, and we're going to start with what I feel, which is, I really have to cast this on. This has been in my queue for quite some time. The first sweater today for the fall roundup is the Gujo Sweater. This is a pattern by Ego Knit, and it is just stunning. I feel like I'm going to be saying this about all of those sweaters because really, I feel everything I was able to pick out of Ravelry and be very inspired by, they're stunning. They're stunning patterns. This is a very chunkier knit. They do describe this as an Aran weight yarn. Let me talk about the gauge. We're going to go over the look of it as well. So this gauge is an Aran weight. They're calling it. It's a 15 stitch gauge count per 10 centimeters, 10 by 10 or 4 by 4 centimeters in the half fisherman's rib. And that's exactly what the sweater is. It's top down. It's got this very cozy funnel neck that's happening in the fisherman rib going into, I think it's a saddle shoulder construction it looks. And then it goes down into the body and the sleeves. It's looking really gorgeous, really cozy and chunky. And I'm just seeing if there's anything on that I'm missing, but no, I think we're good. If you haven't done a fisherman rib, very simple, where you're knitting basically one row in stockinette or all knit stitches if you're in the round, and then you are knitting and purling every other row. So knit purl on the second row, couldn't be easier. Yeah. It's great, a great visual for the amount of work that's done on the needles. The one kind of unfortunate piece is that this pattern only comes in 2 sizes. It's a very forgiving size in that it's a very oversized, very boxy fit. So I believe from the designer's view, it would be 2 sizes because it's so forgiving. There's so much extra material there that it allows for smaller people to wear this really nice big size and have it just be flowy and cozy. It would allow for people that have a bigger bust circumference to still feel very comfortable, but of course have less ease. This may or may not be the sweater for you, but I think you should definitely go check it out. It is stunning, and yeah, I really would love to knit this quite soon. There's going to be a lot that's going to want to jump on my needles. The next that I want to go over is a really interesting and yet super minimal design. This is a Simplicity Jumper, a design by the Nordgaard Knitters, and couldn't be more beautiful. We are looking at a DK weight. I think you could go worsted as well. We're looking at 18 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. And this comes in an extra small to a 2XL. A variety of languages are offered, of course, in the pattern, which is great. This design is just beautiful. You have garter stitch that is being celebrated throughout this entire sweater. They're calling it an oversized feminine raglan in the garter stitch. It has integrated edges. They're saying that the overall shape of the sweater is an A-line silhouette, which is just stunning. I'm just trying to see if there is other pieces that I want to come out. There's short row shaping that's happening, of course, to bring up the neckline. And yeah, I think this is it. We are looking at top down as well, and looks like a really simple construction that I think would be nice to follow. I really love this bigger silhouette for this kind of stitch, and the sleeve almost looks like a bell sleeve where they haven't stitched it in with ribbing. Again, you don't need the ribbing on the edges at the hem nor at the sleeve because you have garter stitch that lays flat. When you have stockinette stitch, it tends to curl, and that's where we get that roll happening. But in this sweater, it's not an issue. I love this sweater. I think it could also be really interesting as a possible mod if you were to include a bit of a neck. So perhaps maybe a little bit of a mock or a funnel neck could be interesting, but just stunning. That's a Simplicity Jumper by Nordgaard Knitters. The next sweater that I have in today's curation is the Doppio Sweater. A very simple looking sweater, but again, I feel like this is where my heart is bringing me, into this really simple, minimal, and fun knit to do. This is designed by Sang-hee Hong and couldn't be more beautiful in my opinion. We are looking at a bulky gauge. She's calling it bulky. We have already seen this stitch gauge count and calling it Erin. This is a 15 stitch gauge count on this, and it is a simple raglan design. We are looking at sizes 1 through 9 on this particular design. We have German short rolls bringing up the neckline, I should say the back. We have tubular bind off that hopefully goes into some details. We have a folded and sewn over neck band or neckline, which is beautiful in my opinion for this. And I'm just seeing if it's top down. It is. We have top down. And there's also video tutorials included, which could be nice if you want a refresher of how to do certain techniques or are somewhat new-ish to knitting. This could be a really friendly dipping your toes into raglan sweater by the looks of things, raglan construction. Here's what I love about this pattern is the overall fit. Again, we are looking at a sweater design that is very form flattering. We don't have an overly crazy boxy sweater, but just a very flattering silhouette. It's also slightly cropped by the looks of things, and perhaps tucked in at the front, the way that the sample's being worn. Just beautiful. That is the Doppio Sweater by Sang-hee Hong. Beautiful. My next sweater that I have in the queue for this season is somewhat similar. I was really excited about this when I came across it. This is by Canadian designer Tara Lynn Morrison. I've heard through the grapevine she's in Hamilton, Ontario. I'm not sure, but this is what I've heard. This is the Kelowna Sweater by Tara Lynn Morrison. We have, it looks again, a simple construction of a raglan design. This is a bulky weight yarn that's being used. This is 5 stitches per 5 centimeters. So if we're looking at, what would this be? This would be 10 centimeters or 4 inches by 4 inches would be 10 stitches in the stockinette stitch, which makes it quite bulky indeed. So because it would work up so quickly. This is a top down seamless in the round raglan and just looks so comfy and cozy. Is this something that you could knit on your own pretty much, probably even without a pattern? You could. This could offer the inspiration, or if you don't want to do all the math, which is very understandable, then you can purchase a pattern. This is, it's a great little pattern. Not tons of sizes. There looks like there are 3 sizes that she's kind of mashed into this silo of 3 sizes, where she's got extra small is 1, medium large is 1 size, and then the final size is the XL XXL. But again, I think because the silhouette is a cropped look, but boxy and oversized with positive ease, that you can kind of get away with less sizing, if that makes sense. Because again, the way that the positive ease is integrated in, it's kind of that range of positive ease depending on our body type and the chest circumference. That's a Kelowna Sweater by Tara Lynn Morrison. My next sweater that I'm very loving so much is the Great Lakes pullover. This was very popular just after the holidays and winter last year. There's a variety of different, I think, gauges offered in this particular sweater. There's a tee. This I would consider a very wonderful fall option. It's a Great Lakes pullover. This is by Ozetta. This is designed with an Istex Let Lopi, which is an absolute favorite yarn of mine, paired with a Knitting for Olive mohair. So offering up an Aran weight gauge. So we're looking at 16 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. Lots of size inclusivity. We have a double extra small to a 5XL. So nice big range. This is a top down sweater. It has a drop saddle shoulder and allows for a ton of positive ease. Really simple looking. I think, again, if you can make a raglan sweater, of course you can make a saddle shoulder. We just have increases that are being focused within 2 sections off of the saddle line, then 4 of the raglan raglan stitches that happen along a raglan sweater. And it's just stunning. I feel, even looking at this navy color, which I don't have a lot of navy, I've actually purchased some navy yarn that I'm going to be sharing in my next episode. Not for this particular sweater, but I am very, very much gravitating towards the lines on this, the oversized boxy as an alternative kind of design line and fit compared to what I've been very into. And the navy color, I think, is just perfection. So that's a Great Lakes pullover by Ozetta Haley Smedley. And yes, I would love to use the Let Low Be on it with a mohair. I think that's such a gorgeous combination. The next sweater I have is actually a tee, but I feel like it's a beautiful transitional piece as we go from one season to the next. This is a Stockinette Tee. This is designed by Svetlana Volkova and is simple and beautiful. I'm just looking at the gauge. We have another Eun Sweater upon us, or tee. This is 17 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches. This is in, of course, the stockinette stitch and offers a decent size range. We are looking at a double extra small to a quadruple XL. This is seamless top down. There's video tutorials that are provided to help you along. I love the simplicity of the sweater. I really enjoy the multiple stitch. I think it looks like maybe 4 stitches that act as that raglan centered line. And the hemming, or I should say the finishes on all areas of the sleeves and the hemline of this tee are done in an I-cord edging, which again is a simple kind of bind off, but again allows for the super clean line to happen. You could do ribbing, but I really enjoy the I-cord edge finishes. I think it just offers something slightly different than that traditional 1x1 ribbing that we see all the time. Gorgeous. That is the Stockinette Tee by Svetlana Volkova. Fabulous. My next sweater that I have, I feel very appropriately is fall, is the Forager by Isabel Kramer. This is the lightest gauge we've had yet here in the pattern roundup. Today we're looking at a DK weight gauge, so we're looking at 20 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4x4 inches. This is in the stockinette stitch. We have 9 sizes available on this, and it looks like somewhat simple construction, but with a lot of particular details that really add to the sweater. So even though it's got quite a bit of stockinette, so kind of mine's off knitting, there looks like there's quite a bit mine's on to offer the different elements that pull in that eye. So I'm just trying to see what things are here. So we have, of course, seamless top-down construction, but we have a contiguous set-in sleeve method that's being worked. So that might be a little different and or be more challenging, especially compared to the other sweaters that we've seen today. We have, I'm just trying to see, a twisted braid and ribbing that's happening at different areas before the cuffs of the sleeves and the body. I have another sweater by Isabel Kramer that I really enjoy that has this featured, and it makes all the difference in that finishing. It's really beautiful, and again, could be applied, I think, once you buy one of her patterns like this to any sweater that you want to get that look. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm looking at. The one potential mod that I might do, because again, this looks like it's somewhat more form-fitting and flattering. She usually, Isabel Kramer, from what I've seen in her samples that she has knit on her design pages, are long torso. And I think that works for her long, lean body. For someone like me who is quite short, and perhaps, I don't know, you know, how you like wearing your sweaters as well, I would make it a little more cropped. So it's nice because you knit less, you get your sweater quicker. But I think this would be too long. It would elongate my torso even more. I would want it a little more cropped. Stunning. That's a Forager by Isabel Kramer. I didn't even talk about the recommended yarn. It's Nature's Luxury Town and Country Cashmere. So we're looking at fancy yarn. However, because we know it's DK weight, we know it's a 20 stitch gauge count, there's so many other yarns offered in that gauge that we don't have to make it super, super fancy if we are not feeling it in something more economical and cost effective. My next sweater that I have is the Harvester. Again, we're getting super folly here. This is a sweater by Jennifer Steingass and is just a colorwork delight. This is knit in the Rosa Pumar Brusca. Did I say Brusca? This is a very rustic yarn. I do know filling this up at the knitting loft is a quite rustic yarn for sure. Haven't worked with it yet, but hopefully one day. This is a worsted weight yarn, 20 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. And we have sizing for 12 sizes on this. Color work, of course, is in the yoke. We are looking at a top-down construction. And this is designed with the sample, of course, with 2 colors. You have a main color and, of course, 1 contrast color. Could be interesting if you wanted to add in multiple colors into the motif, but you don't have to. You can follow the pattern. It's a really beautiful design. She is definitely known for her colorwork sweaters, and the yoke is always just a stunner. That is the Harvester sweater by Jennifer Steingass. My next sweater option that I have is just one I've been in love with. This is the Treysta, as well by Jennifer Steingass. This is another colorwork design. This is featuring Let Lopi by Istex, which is one of my absolute favorite yarns. This is they're calling it an Aran weight yarn. This is 18 stitches by, 18 stitches for 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. And again, has the colorwork that's featured just within the yoke. Super effective design in my opinion, super flattering. This is knit, of course, top down. We're looking at seamless and in the round knitting for this particular sweater. It is, the sizing goes from, there's 7 sizes offered, so somewhat inclusive, not massively, but the motif looks simple enough that if you wanted to increase the pattern size on the chest circumference or decrease it, very simple looking to do, I think, if you can just add another motif or 2 to the chart. I think you're happy, you're right as rain, pleased as punch. I will be talking about the sweater because I may have bought yarn at the Knitting Loft anniversary sale, particularly for this sweater. Can't wait to share that. That is the Treysta by Jennifer Steingass. So thrilling. My next sweater, and I have 3 more to share just on sweaters, is the chunky Dahlia. This is by Lenit or Lian Home Somse. This is a beautiful sweater that came out in 2020 and I think is still going really strong. I chose the chunky edition. So we're looking at a bulky gauge weight, which is a 14 stitch gauge count, 4 by 4 inches, 10 centimeters in the stockinette stitch. Because I felt like in the fall, I love wearing a sweater as my most outer layer. So almost in place of a jacket. And so perhaps this could work for depending where you are as well in the fall, even though it's a heavy sweater. She has knit this using the Sanders Garn Coast along with the silk mohair by Sanders Garn, so it's combined. So it offers a real bigger gauge, but is really light if you know the Coast yarn. So I think the Coast yarn is almost like a chain or like a blown yarn. So if that gives you an idea, you could probably sub in different yarns depending to obtain that bulky gauge. We have sizing on that is an extra small to an XXL. And I'm just looking to see, it doesn't say, I imagine it's top down. It is, it's confirmed. It is a top-down construction. And the nice thing with this, you'll probably have charted work, maybe description, like written instruction, but it's only for the top part of the yoke. And then it's a stockinette delight. Beautiful. It looks like you pick up for the neckline after. So this is one of my favorite ways of constructing a neckline, because then you're able to pick up less or more stitches as you need to either cinch in or pull out that neckline aftermath of finishing your sweater. She's also done a double neckline, which means you're knitting extra long and sewing it down to get a really beautiful finish and a cozy finish. I think it's fantastic. And I mean, a lot of people have knit this. I haven't given it the time to be in my queue until now. Hopefully it'll get into your queue too. This is the Chunky Dahlia by Knit. My next sweater is by Crayabea, the Rebecca Clow. This is the Lauder sweater. This sweater is beautiful and I think just offers all the texture that we're looking for in the fall. This is knit in DK weight yarn. She used the Filcolana Peruvian yarn, just held single, and this is a 22 stitch gauge count, so super true to DK weight, 10 by 10 centimeters, 4 by 4 inches, within the cable motif. So of course you would have to purchase a pattern, look at the cable chart, follow that to see what works for the needle types that you're going to be using. This is available in 9 total sizes. Of course, we have top-down construction. We have the cables that are happening, and with her patterns offers such a variety of options. With one pattern purchase, you can do a pullover that's just the simple rounded neckline and no open no closures. She is offering as well within the one pattern purchase with this a V-neck option as well as a cardigan option. I mean, there's just so much going on. And I forgot to say as well, of course, but this, I feel this could be for any sweater, is that there's a vest option, like a slip over option as well. So you could technically say this is almost like 4 patterns in one. Would you probably knit all 4? Not likely. However, it really offers such a variety of choice after you do make a purchase. This is the Lauder by Rebecca Clow. Next up, and my last sweater for today before we get into one kind of mixy mix and then my accessories, is the Eun Sweater. This is by N. Fiskum Sund. And this is a beautiful sweater that I feel like I've had for a while, bouncing around in the queue options. This is a top-down construction. I'll get into that in a second. We are looking at a worsted weight yarn. In her sample, she uses the Isager yarn, silk mohair along with the Jensen yarn. So combined to make worsted, this is a 16 stitch gauge count for 10 by 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. This is an oversized positive ease sweater built top down. It has an interesting raglan feature that reminds me almost, I think it's sweater number 9, I think, by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Has this really distinctive line that's happening with 2 stockinette stitches acting as a raglan, but then flanked or sandwiched by some purl bumps on the sides to really elevate that middle knit stitch, and bleeds into the neck ribbing as well. The neckline looks like it's picked up after, if I'm not mistaken. The feature that I really love on this, of course, is that split hem. The split hem, I feel still so show. The one mod that I perhaps would do is instead of doing the ribbing of the split hem in equal amount of length on the front and back, and I get that's what the designer was after, I think I might go shorter on the front, longer on the back. I do have to be careful, I feel, with my body shape and type, not to do the back hem too long. So I think I would have to do a lot of trying on as I go. And perhaps that would, resonate with you as well, especially in a split hem, because I can find that back hem piece can go over the bottom, the bum part, and not always be the most flattering. So there's some mods there that I would entertain. That's the Eun Sweater by N. Fiskum Sunde. And I have one kind of melting pot of garment accessory in today's roundup. I have a poncho. This, I used to love ponchos when I was in university, and I feel like this could bring back that love for it. This is the My Flow Poncho. This is by Norgard Knit and is just stunning. This is knit in Geopard Garn Kid Seta along with the Woolia, so quite bouncy. The Woolia I've worked with is a worsted weight yarn, so it's super cozy but light. Very airy. This creates an Aran weight gauge. We're looking at 16 stitches per 10 centimeter, 4 by 4 inches. The sizing on it is, there are 3 sizes. I'm surprised they did sizes at all. It's a poncho. I would expect one size fits all, but they've gone above and beyond. The stitches, or sorry, I should say the stitch motif here, and this is what you would do your gauge swatch in as well, is half fisherman rib. So again, we had a pattern, I believe from Norgard, knit with the half fisherman rib. You're knitting one row and you're alternating between a knit purl on your second row. Super easy to do, really effective, beautiful motif in the end. And I'm just trying to see if I need to share any pieces of construction with you. This is knit in one piece. It's worked flat. I think what would happen is you probably stitch up that one area. Poncho is worked in one piece, folded with the wrong side facing out and seamed along the edge. So it is seamed. I don't have a problem seaming. If you do, I don't know if this would be a perfect pattern for you, or perhaps you could find a way of somehow maybe joining in the round. But I don't think it's going to be that bad for seaming. It's one seam that you're doing. It is really beautiful. The edge is a folded and sewn together edge. Again, that would take some time, but it is fabulously clean and really stunning finish. The neck is worked with an I-cord finish. It's beautiful. I find this would be a fabulous piece over so many different things. You could pair it over a nice white blouse. You could pair it over a very fitting leather jacket. This would be so hot, like cute hot, I mean. Also very cozy, because as we get into the cooler times of fall, we may want to wear that leather jacket and it may not be cozy enough, especially a form-fitting jacket. So this would allow you that extra, layer. And I definitely love fall for layering. That's the My Flow Poncho by Norgard Knit. As we press on, we are now going to get into accessories. I think I'm going to start with hats, because this has been a big piece of enjoyment of knitting along my commute for this year so far in September. Let's start with the North Shore Beanie. This is a beanie or toque or hat by Ozetta. This is a bulky weight yarn. She's knit. This is in the Camaro Stefnug paired with soft silk mohair and Wooler's Dream Mota. So a lot of different combination of yarn to get the finished fabric on this. Of course, you can be creative and figure out your own kind of yarn combination, or just go with one bulky option at 18 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches. That of course is using, it's all Stockinette. It's work bottom up. So you're working from the forehead to the crown. I really enjoy this. Not only does the, I think overall a very simple pattern to follow, but it's that little crisp edge on the crown, I think is just the funnest. My favorite photo of her styling this beanie is, and I'll probably show it in here, is with the gray sample she has with her Lakes pullover. I feel like that's what I want. I want that in my life. I want the North Shore beanie along with the Lakes pullover. I think it's just stunning. Sizing offered on this is there's actually tons of sizing. Extra small to an extra large, so it's equal to a child circumference of head to a very large cranium. I think this could be great even if you are looking at gift knits, and I've been gift knitting quite a bit for thank yous for different things for people. This could be a great option too. That is the North Shore Beanie by Ozetta. My next hat option is by Tara Lynn Morrison. This is a beautiful design. It's the York Bobble Toque. I love she's using the word toque as a Canadian designer. It's a beanie, and we are looking at an Aran weight yarn. If it's Aran weight, we're probably looking at about 16, 17 stitches per 10 by 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. The interesting element, of course, with this design is you have a stockinette stitch that's encompassing your whole body of the beanie after your ribbing that's folded, but you have your bobbles. I was obsessed with bobbles for quite some time. Haven't done a bobble in a hot minute. This may be the pattern that'll get me back into bobbles. Bobbles are very gobbly of yarn. So if you have a yarn that you're looking at that you might want to knit a hat with, but have like a little too much, this could be an option for you. I mean, as well, depending on your yarn quantity, instead of doing a double brim for the folded rim of the hat, you could go single, and that's going to take less yarn. Be less cozy, but maybe more fall friendly. That's the York Bobble Toque by Tara Lynn Morrison. My next and final hat option is a deep winter hat design by Woolen Pine. It does say winter, but I mean, we can do it in fall, and I think the colors are just so delightfully fall that they've chosen for their sample. This is in the Farmer's Daughter fiber Bear Paw DK. Any DK weight yarn would do. We are looking at, oh, she doesn't say. It's a one repeat. That's not very helpful. For the 2.25 inch chart repeat. You may have to click around into the pattern to find more on that. I'm trying to see if she's doesn't have more information, and I get it because the stitch motif is quite unique that I'm feeling is reluctant to explain. Yeah, it's a beautiful cable that I assume would be charted along with written instructions. We have, so DK weight, yeah. DK weight, we're looking at like 20 to 22 stitches per 10 by 10 centimeters, 4 by 4 inches. We have how many sizes? We've got a few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sizes on this hat. So again, could act as a great gift knit. This is a fancy gift knit in my opinion, and someone who would be very knit worthy. This is knit from brim up. So again, you're starting with the 1x1 ribbing and then getting into your charted cable work design. You could, again, depending on how much yarn you have, do a single brim instead of the double folded brim. It's always an option. gorgeous. This is the Deep Winter Hat by Woolen Pine. We are going to get into the neck pieces. I'm going to go free. Let's go free pattern for a second. This is the Jasmine Scarf by Pearl Soho. We know that Pearl Soho offers paid and free patterns, but tons of free patterns. This is 6 stitches per 2.5 centimeters in stockinette stitch, although the motif is not just stockinette stitch. They've knit this in worsted weight yarn. They've of course used one of their own brand yarns, the Pearl Soho Flax Down, and it's just beautiful. They are depicting this motif in no way on the main page of Ravelry, but looks like almost, what's it called, herringbone, a herringbone stitch. I do not have experience doing a herringbone, but it looks beautiful. I think it might gobble up yarn by the looks of things. The end, or I should say the finishes of the ends of both sides of the scarf just look like they're stockinette stitch, so slightly even rolled. You might have to be careful when blocking. You could always add on an I-cord if you wanted, but this is a free pattern, so you can mod as you wish. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful scarf, and one that could bring you into all seasons. That's a Jasmine Scarf by Pearl Soho and today's free pattern. We have now the Turtle Dove Shawl. I do consider this almost like a micro shawl. It's not a full shawl. This is by Sori Nordland. We have, she's knit this sample in J. Powell Wild and Soft, along with a soft silk mohair from Knitting for Olive, to create a DK weight yarn, 23 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches in the cable pattern. This is probably charted as well as written instruction, and we have one size on this shawl or micro shawl. Beautiful. We have bubbles, we have cabling, we have ribbing, we have many things going on, and it's stunning. I think this would offer interest as you are traveling, but you would definitely have to have minds on because of the charting that would be occurring in this pattern. You wouldn't be able to put your phone or your chart down, I don't think, for long, because again, it is a shorter, like physically smaller knit, and it looks like there's a lot going on as you continue to knit different sections. So appears to me like you're only doing each section twice or once. So to memorize it is probably not very doable. That means it could be a really interesting knit if that's what you're after. It's a Turtle Dove Shawl by Sori Nordland. My next and yes, last piece of neckwear is the Cityscape Cowl. This is the first time I'm featuring a design by Toque. It's a beautiful cowl that comes and pulls over the head with almost like a bandana-like front. It is just stunning. She's knit this in the Camilla Fiber Company Yak DK paired with mohair silk lace from the same company. This is in a DK weight or 22 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches in the cable pattern, which again I would assume would be charted. This is being worked flat in the gauge swatch. I believe this is also work flat. It is work flat overall as well. So you're seaming to stitch up the cowl in the end. It's a beautiful piece. It looks like potentially I-cord edging is allowing for that really clean finish on the one edge. I feel like this is such a beautiful feature to finish off a fall outfit. It could act as a really cozy option as well under a coat, a wool coat. Could be really lovely. And you would want, or I would want, something soft because it's my neck, and my neck is the least sensitive part, or sorry, I should say the most sensitive part of my body, where I can wear real rustic wools all across my torso and my arms. But when it comes to my neck and often my forehead, I do go for a softer, more fine option of wool or fiber. This is the Cityscape Cowl by Toque. My very last design today that we're going to be talking about is going over and making sure I didn't forget anything, because this is true, are a pair of socks. I am not a sock knitter. However, if I was going to knit a pair of socks this season, this is the exact one I would be knitting. These are the Lodge socks by Ozetta. They are a beautiful, really simple design of sock. And here's why I would consider knitting them. They are in a bulky weight gauge. They have, they're knitting up at 5 stitches per 2.5 centimeters of knitting, which would be 5. So 20 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. So still not as quick as I would like, although quicker than many other socks. They have knit these in the Essex Lopi mixed with mohair from Biche and Bouche. I've worked with the Biche and Bouche gross mohair, and is fantastic. Yeah, these look really lovely. I just want to see the construction on these. There's a short row hill. It is knit top cuff down. So you're looking at starting at the leg and going down to the toe, which I feel is pretty standard for a lot of socks. She's got some options by the looks of her samples, adding in different ribbing, leaving it at stockinette and only ribbing the top, but they do look like a quicker sock option. If you're like me and really don't enjoy sock making, maybe this could be the option for you to get comfy and cozy this fall. That's the Lodge socks by Ozetta. That is my 20 knit pattern roundups. I would love to knit everything, of course. After all these roundups, I just want to get everything on my needles and go crazy with knitting. I just might. I have a run that I'm going to be doing just right after this. So I'm going to go running, come back and shower, and then I'm almost thinking I might cast on my next new knit, even though we have so many things that I'm not done. But everything right now on my needles is very, very full, and I cannot wait to share that in the next episode with you. For today, if you enjoyed the pattern roundup, the concept of including all of these pattern options into the Ravelry bundle, please let me know in the comments. If there's anything today that you have questions about, let me know. Our knitting community is the best at helping out each other, which is so lovely and warm. I want to thank you very much for being here. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Consider clicking into the different links, checking out some of my patterns as well. I have a Ko-Fi link there as well. I think that's it. I wish you the most joyous knitting in your future, be it fall knitting or otherwise. Until next time, take care.